All right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you on this Wednesday morning, actually the last day of the month of May. So I hope that you're well and ready to face the day. Welcome to the show. My name is Winnie Lumbembe, and of course today it's also a pretty significant today because it is the World No Tobacco Day. And of course today we're going to have an interesting conversation as far as tobacco burden, especially here in the country, and of course what are some of the things that we need to do to make sure that we reduce the burden as well as the harmful effects of tobacco. Because again, like I said, World No Tobacco Day is observed globally on May 31st. I said 30th, 31st every year. And of course the aim is raising awareness, like I said, about the harmful effects of tobacco consumption, at the same time encouraging people to quit smoking. Now in the country, tobacco is one of the 4 risk factors, and this is as far as the alarmingly increasing burden of non-communicable diseases in this country. So the big question is, how then do we reduce the burden of tobacco in the country? But at the same time, we also need to consider the fact that we have tobacco farmers in the country, all right? And of course, there's a huge conversation around transitioning from tobacco farming to other, crops. But the big question is then, how do we make it a little bit lucrative and attractive for these farmers to consider transitioning for the same? We'll be talking about that in just a moment, so you want to stick around until the end of the conversation. But at the same time, how about we look at what the numbers say as far as tobacco is concerned? So World No Tobacco Day as well, it is today, and of course this year's theme is Grow Food, Not Tobacco, and this is according to the World Health Organization, which again continues to say that tobacco is grown in over 124 countries and taking up millions of hectares of fertile land that could be used to grow food, address food security and nutrition challenges, as well as help feed families. All right, so then what exactly do the numbers look like? So 1.3 billion tobacco users are there globally, and of course 80% of tobacco users live in low middle income countries. 8 million people die annually from tobacco-related illnesses, and this is according again to the World Health Organization. But again, let's take a look at the second-hand, consumers as far as tobacco is concerned. We have 1.2 million plus second-hand non-smoker deaths that are reported annually as well. But coming back to the country, we have 9,000 Kenyans who die annually from tobacco-related illnesses. So the big question is, what exactly do we do to prevent, the tobacco-related illnesses, diseases, and of course the effects of the same as far as, tobacco is concerned? But again, like we said, we have a very simple question for you today, and of course we look forward to hear what you have to say. And the question is pretty simple: what should be done? And this is to reduce the tobacco burden and its harmful effects. All right, what should be done to reduce the burden of tobacco and its harmful effects? And of course, if you are watching us this morning and maybe you are a user and probably you're trying to quit, because you hear a lot of people who say, you know what, I have used it for a very long time. I have seen my grandfather use it. I have seen my father maybe use it. Several people in my family use it. But if you're trying to quit, majority of the people will tell you it's not as easy, because again, like we all know, nicotine, is highly addictive. So the question is, what exactly do we do? All right. So if you're watching us and you're trying to quit and you have a question, or maybe you know someone and you're probably trying to force them to quit, send us your concerns and your questions at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. And of course, not forgetting the question, that is what should be done to reduce tobacco burden and its harmful effects. So at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter, is how you can reach us. So better yet, give us a call. Our lines are open, and let's just get to understand more on the impact of tobacco, and not only to our health, but also to the environment and economically as well. And how do we reduce the burden as far as that is concerned? So my guests are already here in studio. And of course, we have Mr. Joel Shunza Gitali, who's the chairman, Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance, that is KETCAT. So good to have you this morning. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Karibu sana. And of course, we also have Pius Mutie Nzomo, aka SISO Kenya. Yes. How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
And you're here today to just share, first of all, your journey and your experience as far as tobacco is concerned.
Yes.
And of course, the whole question of quitting, because like I said, when you talk to so many people, they'll tell you it's not easy, to quit. Some people have been forced to quit, but you find yourself, relapsing at the same time. So I would like to hear from you, but I'm really, really curious about your name, SISO Kenya. Where did it come from?
I am an entertainer.
Yes.
I am an author. I am so much into art.
Yeah.
In many fields.
Yeah.
So that's my brand name, actually.
SISO Kenya.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But Joel, for you, let's just start with you and just painting the picture for us as far as tobacco is concerned. I know the celebrations are taking place in Migori today, and of course we'll try and link up with our reporter in Migori just to, you know, help us get a feel of what exactly is happening on the ground, and also speak to a few people, and especially the farmers, really, as far as tobacco farming is concerned, and some of the challenges that they are experiencing, because a lot of things that are happening. There's the contractual, you know, unfair contractual agreements that, you know, they are also forced to have, you know, sort of like loans to make sure that they plant. I mean, it's just too much. All right, we'll get into that in a moment. But Joel, let's just start with you. In the country, we see more than 9,000 Kenyans dying annually, and this is from tobacco. So could you just paint a picture for us, because you're very, very active in terms of, you know, championing for a no tobacco country. Well, paint the picture for us exactly. How are we doing, you know, and especially as far as the users is concerned?
Yeah, surely, as you say, the situation is not so good because when you find about 11% of Kenyans are using tobacco products, and that's just a figure that we arrive at by looking especially at those who smoke. But those who use tobacco products are so many, including very small children. And we've not had so good researches done. Even those who come up with the statistics, when you look at it, where you find that they do more of estimations and guesswork. Otherwise, the situation is worse than whatever is being given. And we had made some progress, yes. But then the emergency of these new products has really reversed the gains that we had made, especially shisha. When shisha came in, you know, everybody went into it, and especially girls. Everything just became a mess. We fought against it. It was banned. It disappeared a bit, but it has re-emerged, and nobody seems to bother even when we talk. We have the enforcement officers. We have the government that is supposed to enforce the law. But then ours is to talk. And then after talking, fellows look at us and ask us, what has happened after you have talked? They continue with their own lives as usual.
Is being done.
So the situation is not so good when it comes to consumption. And we are worried that very small children are going into it, especially these new products. You've seen something lift, which we fought against. It had been registered as a pharmaceutical product irregularly. So it was deregistered by the then cabinet secretary, but it has re-emerged as Velo. They've changed the name and brought it. It is there selling, and they tell you on your face that it is, we are selling it and we have the permission to do it. We don't know permission from who.
From where?
So many times they've called us to go for meetings to standardize, to put standards for it, but we say we cannot go to put standards for a product that is already on the market. So it must not be there, so that we come up with the standards that will regulate it. But now, if it is already there,
it becomes a bit of a challenge.
It's a challenge. So
clearly, there's a lot of gaps, really, as far as tobacco is concerned. And I'm happy that you pointed out something very important, because majority of the times when you talk about or mention or even think about tobacco, of course, the first thought will be on smoking. But you've talked about, you know, other tobacco products. So could we just quickly go through them to make it clear for people to really understand, so that we don't just think about smoking as one of the things that, you know, is contributing to a lot of death in the country?
Currently, when we talk about tobacco, we even include these nicotine products that are not necessarily tobacco, because our focus majorly is on this addiction. Because the addiction is that makes fellows now to get into using anything that has nicotine. So we have got the traditional cigarettes, as you put it. We have the cigars, you know them. We have shisha, as we have said. And then we have these oral nicotine pouches. And there are other products. You have heard of Guber. others even which I cannot pronounce. I've not even seen them. We have e-cigarettes, electronic cigarettes that look so nice. Even when somebody has it near a parent does not know.
Might not know.
Your son might even leave it here and you call, hey, you are leaving your good thing here. You see, so
You don't know what exactly that is.
so there are so many, and some of these products enter this country through our borders, coming from countries like Ethiopia, through Uganda, and the other places. But then we have even those like the nicotine pouches, oral nicotine pouches, that seem to enter the country just through the right channel, but wrongly. Because you have to go to these fellows of KRA, the KEBS, and what they do, you wonder how do they receive these products and let them enter the country and be sold. So we still have a very long way to go, very long way to go.
And it's important that we're having that conversation, and especially on a larger scale, just then to see how do we reduce, first of all, the chances of these products getting into the country in the first place, because again, like you're saying, when it's already in the market, it becomes very difficult to sort of like regulate the same. And the fact that manufacturers are becoming very crafty, you know, nowadays, and introducing, like we're saying, the e-cigarettes. We're talking about vape, which pretty much common. It's like almost you know, many young people are actually using it. It's very flavored, so you would not even know that, you know, what exactly you are consuming. There's some people who are arguing and saying that is much, much better than taking the traditional cigarette. So we'll come back to you to to address more on the same. But let's talk to SISO Kenya. That's a very interesting name, SISO Kenya. All right. So let's go back, right? Because you told me like you started smoking out of peer pressure. Right. So when like was your first contact with I don't know whether it was cigarette or shisha,
cigarette,
or whatever it is, cigarette. Okay. Cigarette. So when was your first introduction to the scene?
31st of March 2014.
All right.
Let me say it was a heart broken filled day. Like I was heartbroken that day.
What happened?
You know, love is blind.
Then it's difficult. Okay. So you were heartbroken that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I had a gig on that day in one of the universities in town, and just like that, when my fellow peers were smoking, my fellow entertainers are smoking, you know, entertainers and fun. So I was just proposed into smoking cigarette by one of my friends at the Sujaribu. You know, I'm having a drink and you can complement it with this.
So it's like get off the habit, you know?
So I tried. That was my first, I can remember it like it was yesterday. And after I took it, I never knew taking the second one, the third one, the fourth one. I found myself taking even a packet and a half, or even 2
in
packets
that one day.
Yeah, in one day. It was a process. Yes, it was a process. It's not like I smoked so much in the beginning.
Oh yeah, because there's like a whole packet in that very, wow. Okay.
No, I started with one cigarette, but I never knew smoking the second one, I never knew the addiction was growing in me.
Before you get to the addiction part.
When it came to 2021, that is when I started now feeling a difference in my system. I started realizing there must be something that is wrong, either something that I'm using or something that is affecting me, either from an allergy or something. So I started questioning myself so much.
Okay.
My dad is a doc. So I'm lucky, and I consulted him, and he asked me, "Nini unatumianga?" Now that was the time I had to open up to my dad that I smoke cigarette.
So they didn't know, like
they
didn't know.
They didn't know. Okay. And I had to open up to him because I had this. Actually, even now I can even testify. I can tell that even now I'm still battling it. It is 2 years since I decided to say, I have to quit this, but it is a battle. It is a battle. I am really struggling. I am really struggling. I have really struggled so much because now God has blessed me with 2 kids. I don't want them to see me smoking. When when I have to smoke, I had to like go hide somewhere.
And hide,
yeah, because I don't want my son to see me smoking. I don't want my daughter to see me smoking. So it is a trauma to myself. Working with my dad here, I call him my dad because he's one of the people who are now making me see the essence and the importance of quitting this. Because I am not just doing it. I have not just done it. Now I've done it with a purpose. I've not done it for myself. I'm now doing it for the whole entire universe to be safe from this, because I can testify, I can tell that even 2 years after making a decision that I am going to quit, I am still battling it, because the left side of my throat, I am an entertainer. I feed from this voice. This voice is what makes me who I am. It is what has brought me together with Mzee to work in order to save this voice from getting lost, because many people need it. Not only I need it, but the whole entire globe needs this voice.
I mean, because you use that to spread awareness as far as you know, smoking and the impact of the same. So you said when you started, you didn't know when you got to the addiction part, right?
Yes.
So I want to imagine, like, when you started, you took like 1 or maybe 2, you know, but
sometimes even a half.
Or even a half, right? So at what point would you say you got yourself to taking a whole packet a day, or taking a whole packet and a half, or maybe 2, you know, in some instances? At what point did you get to that level?
That's a good question, because smoking tobacco does not just come alone. It comes with acquaintances. So you will find that anybody who's smoking a cigarette is either a drunkard, or chews cat, or does another drug. That it does not come alone. It does not come alone. I am talking the truth, because the truth will set many people free.
Not true,
Yeah, it will set. That, I am personally standing on this truth so that I can set myself free. I don't want, as much as the addiction was maybe written in my lineage, to come and affect my very innocent son. Yani staki, hiyo ni kitu.
So you didn't know. So you sort of like graduated, quote unquote, from just using cigarettes itself to other things.
Drinking, I was using alcohol. So alcohol comes with cigarette so nicely. Zinaingia na vizuri sana. Yani if you're you chew cut, I have been there. So you find that it's
a combination
a good compliment. It is a good compliment.
So you wouldn't even tell, like,
you couldn't
at what
tell.
point you would get to that.
I couldn't tell. And even the friends that surrounded me at that time. Wow. If you get into the world of smoke, you really get smoked. Yeah, because
clearly you're an artist. You get into the world of smoking, you get smoked.
Yes.
I like that. And it's a very, very good reference.
Yeah, you really. Right now, I can even appreciate the fresh breath that I feel on myself as a human being today, because hata sikuwa najua that nanuka zigara. But it came to a moment when nilianza kuji-question, because my baby mama, my wife, you know, she used to tell me, I don't like that smell.
You wonder, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't like that smell. And I'm like, what smell? You know, what smell? Because right at that time, ni kama inakoga, ni kama ni pepo. You cannot tell that you are in a world that is not good for you. Up until you come and get a certain awareness. Awareness is the only answer. Because there's something that must click your mind through somebody, or as an individual in person, ukiwa umelala ama ukiwa kwa barabara ukitembea, or maybe you meet that darkness that comes with cigarette smoking, like you find yourself affected or infected with one of those many strange things that come with tobacco. Na hapo sasa ndo you decide now to go back.
Yeah.
But you never know when you're really graduating. When you're really graduating, when you're really becoming a toxic smoker, ujuangi, because you are surrounded by toxic ones already. So you're even becoming more toxic. And as they become more toxic, they think of quitting. You're becoming more toxic. You're even intoxicating them more. So it is. It is a chain. It is a chain network. I was among chain smoking, but it is. You are affected. You affect another person. You infect another person. That person infects you, and it goes like that. One of you, if one of you doesn't come out of that darkness, then both of you will just go.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And Joel, very quickly, because we need to go on a break in the next like a minute. I mean, sounds familiar, right? And especially amongst so many people who will tell you, I got into this because of peer pressure, because of I was stressed, I was this, I was that. I saw my dad smoking, I saw my grandpa smoking, and I wanted to try, and I got myself here. And before I knew it, I was addicted to the same. So how much of a burden is it, and especially to the young people? Because the CDC says around 15 to 20, 25-year-olds are mostly affected by the same. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean how how it affects them?
Much of a burden, especially to the young people. And now, given that, like we said, manufacturers are becoming more creative and more crafty nowadays, and introducing some of these other products that, you know, might not necessarily be seen as, you know, containing nicotine, but they really do.
Yeah, you know, the last research some time back was showing that these young people, 1.5 million, but now that figure might even be double, and is a very bad thing because it impacts on their ability to do so many things. They cannot be productive. You know, once you are sick, as he says, his voice is what makes him to earn a living, and once he loses it, that is it. And then there are just people who will not want to associate with a smoker, even if he has something good to offer. You see, even the wife, as he says, was already saying, no.
They're not happy about it,
So there are those who will just want you to be away from them. Like personally, I'm normally very hesitant to accept even a relative who smokes to sleep in my house. Because I know sometimes after they've left, you go to that bedroom and it's like, no. So for young people, it's a really burden because these are people who don't even have money, and yet they have to continue satisfying their desires, their addiction. So it becomes a problem to them, and they might not even get employment. When people want to find out the kind of life you lead, and somebody says this one is a smoker, forget about him, among other things. So it's just good that they take care of themselves. Like the border fellows, most of them who are young, you can imagine somebody struggling the whole day with a motorbike just to spend the little he earns on tobacco, and maybe wife and the children are there waiting. So it's something that should be avoided at all costs.
Yeah, sort of like disabling in so many ways. Because again, like he was saying, you have children, right? You have a wife. I mean, you have a family. You'd want to protect them because you know, the biggest burden is on the second-hand smokers, because they are not smoking, like they do not, but they are inhaling. You know, whatever. So it's very sort of like disabling economically, not good to the environment as well, and as far as you know, one's health is concerned. Okay, so how about we take a break? But of course, when we come back, we'd want to understand more on the policies, first of all, because again, like we always say here in the country, we have really, really good policies, but we have a biggest challenge when it comes to the implementation of the same. And then we'll also talk about then for the farmers as well, because there's also a huge, and this is one of the focus for this year, and that is, you know, do not grow tobacco, grow food. But then the big question is, how do we get these farmers to transition to the same, but also make it a bit attractive, you know, to them, because most of them actually grow this, you know, for cash, for profit, to make sure that they also fend for their family. So then if we want them to transition, then how do we make it easier for them to transition? But again, not forgetting the question that we're asking you today, and this is what should be done to reduce the tobacco burden and its harmful effects. We'll be going through your feedback after the break. Stay with us. This is Your World.
Get ready to tantalize your taste buds and embark on a culinary journey with Pishi Bomba, the ultimate cooking show that brings the flavors of the world right into your living room. Tune in this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. with me, Claire Karatu, for a mouth-watering adventure.
Pishi Bomba, in association with Coca-Cola.
Make your mealtime more magical. Buy any participating pack. Check under the cap to get your code and stand a chance to win free food shopping for a year, plus millions in instant cash, airtime, and shopping vouchers.
I am so excited to have joined MKU. The flexibility in the payment of fees makes education very affordable.
With over 165 fully accredited programs and the state-of-art learning facilities, you literally have the world in your hands in terms of career choice.
The learning is not only uninterrupted, but also supported through ICT. And within no time, you're done with your studies.
Join us and start your career journey.
Intake is in progress. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
Mount Kenya. Talk, we came to ball. Let's get straight to it. Ready for whatever. We gon' ride. Line them up. Let's go toe to toe. Tell them pick a side. Put in work. We don't play no games. Watch it run in high. Savage mode. We gon' keep it G. Yeah, you know the vibe. When it's meal time, who gon' tell my dogs we can't eat? Oh yeah.
Get the Ballin' Twister box for only $7.50. NBA, KFC, balling all day.
I'll give you anything you want, but just don't ruin my image, please. Don't ruin my image. Mamu! Mamu! Boss! Dido!
To protect our family from germs that cause illness when it's cold, we use Dettol soap.
Dettol soap with germ defense gives you protection. When it's cold, germs are transferred in different ways, and Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
Cascadia Apartments at Two Rivers Development in Nairobi with a Madaraka offer till 30th June 2023. Price start from 9.2 million. Call us today on 0742 342 722 or text Cascadia to 22365.
All right, welcome back. Time really flies, and of course today is a very significant day, like we said, because again the world is marking World No Tobacco Day, and of course the theme for this year is grow food and not tobacco. So to help us with that conversation, we have Joel Shunza-Gitali, who's the chairman Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance Kenya, as well as Pius Mutie Nzomo, aka SISO Kenya, who's here to share his journey as far as smoking tobacco is concerned, and of course the impact of the same and how this affected his life, right? And of course, like we're saying today, we have a very simple question for you, and that is what should be done to reduce tobacco burden and its harmful effects. Hey, a number of you, okay? So on Facebook, Sami Kimani says ban tobacco from Kenyan shops, all right? And then someone else says, Grace Odhiambo, still on Facebook, says, let's stop tobacco farming, okay? And then someone else says, says let's stop tobacco farming, and then another one says we should ban tobacco as well. But then the big question is, so after that, all right, what happens next? How do we get to that level? Like we said, we have very really, really good policies out there, but then again, the implementation is a big challenge. So what do we do? But Jill, I want you to speak to, and especially the whole aspect about farmers, because we have people who are growing tobacco, not because they want to consume, but because they need to earn a living. And for majority of them, I was watching another lady's story, and she said, my grandparents used to be tobacco farmers, my parents used to be tobacco farmers, and I inherited that. So when they passed away, I continued with the family business, and this is tobacco farming. And she was saying that at some point she got her children into the same, because again, they needed to come and help the family, with all those things, until I think earlier this year when she stopped farming. So for so many farmers out there, right, who are farming tobacco just to earn a living, to be able to fend for their families, what are some of the ways that maybe we could employ just to make sure that then make it easier for them to transition? In as much as the WHO says we need to grow food and not tobacco, but at the same time, these farmers need money to fend for their families.
Okay, this year's theme, as we say, the wider theme globally is we need food and not tobacco. But in Kenya, we've modified a bit because of what we are doing now. There's a project of tobacco-free farms.
Yeah.
That's why we are saying grow food and not tobacco.
Yeah.
And that the entire world is now in Kenya. We are in Migori, celebrating the successes that we've had. Farmers have actually shifted from tobacco growing to other economically viable alternatives, and especially the nyota beans that are very rich in iron, they're very nutritious, and they take a short time to mature. And then there is ready market for the beans. So many farmers are going into that. Initially, we had also soya being grown there, and then we have bananas and other things like dairy farming. Those things are happening now in those places. And knowledge is power. Before one knows exactly where they are, they cannot come out of there.
That's true.
So farmers for a long time used to think that they were getting something out of tobacco. Until researches were done, we did some tobacco farming economics, and we could compare with the other alternatives. That if you grow tobacco and somebody else grows maize, for example, on the same acreage, who gains? So farmers have started comparing and seeing surely they are losing. And that's how they start now changing. You talk to 3 or 4 and one accepts what you are saying, the rest refuse. But when they see now that one prosper, then they say, oh, so this thing is good. So we must have pace setters in everything. So that's what is happening now. And this is a project that was started by WHO, World Food Program, and FAO, in collaboration with the government of Kenya, Ministries of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, and then the the county government of Migori. And it has really succeeded. As we are saying, farmers now know that they can come out of the colonial mentality. Tobacco was brought by colonialists. And until some communities like in Central think that it is part of their culture, when it's not. It's just part of colonialism. When they fought the colonialists and went, they were left in the chains of tobacco, and they don't know that. So people are changing, and this project is going to be rolled to Bungoma, Busia, Tarakaniti, Meru, so that farmers can actually engage in activities that will promote the health of their families. So when we say we need food and not tobacco, it's a reality, because in Kenya we have got that problem of shortage of food. Can you imagine now, we used to help the Ethiopians when they didn't have. Now you hear the government saying we are going to import maize from Ethiopia. We are going to import from Tanzania, from Zambia. Then you keep wondering, surely Kenya, of all the countries.
We should not
so we need to take some measures and ensure that our farms produce food. When food is produced, because you go to those areas, you find that children are malnourished, people's health is just bad. These are fellows who spend nights outside there during curing, because they must ensure that the fire continues to burn. You look at the environment, it is depleted. But now, when you grow tobacco, you will deliver your produce to the company, nothing else. But you see, when you grow food, like if you have maize or beans or bananas or whatever you have, it will be food for you and the family.
and
It will
still
also
able
be
to sell.
fodder for dairy farming. You will also have even poultry. So you'll be having other projects also coming up. And you'll be healthy. So, and there is ready market for such things. Schools will buy, hospitals, and there is just ready market for such things.
Okay.
So we are saying farmers should not fear. In Bungoma, we can be able to supply our textile industry with the cotton. That's a cotton growing area that has been neglected. So if these people can come out of tobacco farming and engage in such things, you will have a healthier and a wealthier country.
No, I see that. I see that. Because again, like we're saying, tobacco is not just the impact on one's health, but again, like we're saying, the environment, right? You talked about curing, and again, this lady was saying, listen, we use wood fuel. So of course, you know, we inhale that smoke, which is not good for us. All right, during farming, we also use like very strong pesticides, because tobacco is very delicate and it needs to be, you know, washed and monitored, and make sure that, you know, pesticides that we use, make sure that, you know, to prevent pests, really, right? So of course that also has an impact on them. She was saying unajikuna ngozi kabisa, you know, and all those things, which is not good. But also we're talking about huge cases of deforestation. We're talking about climate change right now as well. So it's like the impact is, it's like a cycle.
You know, even those who work on tobacco farms, they get what we call the green leaf disease, where nicotine penetrates through your skin into the body. So you get nicotine poisoning. And you know, children work on those farms.
That's true.
They are the ones who help their parents. You even have child labor in such areas. And you'll find a mother who is even lactating. You have a kid, you go to the farm with the kid is playing there. When the kid wants to be fed, you go and feed the kid with those hands that are just touching the lips and every kind of mess. So those children and even mothers who are expectant miscarry. You know.
And even the eyes. I mean, looking at the eyes as well. You know, it's not really good.
And the men are the ones who collect the check. Women and children
and the one who are working in the farms, which is not fair. And even when it comes to the contracts that they're given, you know, we talked about unfair contractual agreements where you're given a loan to farm this, and then once the profit is there, you do not get the whole share. It is, you know, the companies that will take their own share. So it's like you're living on loan, which is not very beneficial. I see what you're saying in terms of then helping farmers to really understand this and look for other alternatives. But so Pius, for you, having gone through this, and you're saying it's a constant battle, it's not easy to quit. You are still on your journey, you know, as far as living a tobacco-free life, and that is smoking in this sense, right? But how would you say this impacted you, or how did it affect your health? We talked about your family at some point, you know, they were not okay with this. You talked about affected you on this, was it?
My throat.
Your throat, right?
My left side.
Yes. So could you tell us how, you know, just smoking and also that, including these are the things that you are consuming, together with smoking, how did that affect you? Your health, maybe, or any other part of your life?
First, I could tell at the beginning when I started noticing that something is affecting me. There must be something affecting me. I started having a difficulty in breathing.
Okay.
So and that made me sort out to start exercising, physical exercise, because, you know, I started feeling like maybe ni kwa sababu sijapiga mashow sana, you know, because si wanga tuna believe as entertainers, when you stand on stage there, you lose very many calories. Whether you're moving or not moving. Even sometimes, even when you're not moving, like you, when you're seated there, by the time, do your research, by the time you're coming from there, out of this show, you will have lost some calories. Why? Because you will be like, I did it well.
Okay.
Like, kuna kitu umeshed.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it is natural. It is natural. It is an ease to the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started feeling difficulty in breathing, kifua inakuwa mzito sana. Then the ribs naanza kusikia when I'm inhaling, I feel it's like it's so hollow. It's like I can see through. I can see through from my throat through to the lungs. It's so hollow, like I can feel the space.
It's like you're feeling constricted, maybe.
Yeah. Then it is ni chafu iko na kohozi, iko na.
Okay.
Yeah. But I never took it serious. I never took it serious. I was like, maybe ni kwa sababu nalegea sana, maybe I start exercising and stuff. But I started exercising, and I can tell you, even physical exercise alone is not enough to bring down that mess, to bring you out of that thing. Because it takes a lot. I think it takes even a lot of counseling. It takes a lot of being alone. Because if you are around people, you'll be around those people who are doing what exactly you're running away from.
You're trying to, because you said at some point, your company was not good.
My company was not good, and when I started feeling those effects, I now started fighting myself. Nafaa kujua, nataka kujua. But by the time I came to realize, I had an issue that would make me spit in a paper. For like in 1 hour, I could spit in a paper almost half, and I'm spitting not just normal spit, but it is really thick.
Okay.
It is not a normal spit. Yani naangalia hivi naona jamaa nagonjeka nini? Nikaanza kujiuliza maswali mingi sana. I started questioning myself so much. And then from that time, I really said it so many times. Nasema I'm going to quit. The next day, I find myself doing exactly what I said I'm going to. And I'm like, why is it that my words are not making?
You feel bad after, because it's like you're not able to honor your...
Yes. Sometimes, my wife is there, and I told her yesterday, with a very firm, yes, manze, I will never, I have quit. Mpaka nazichukua nazitupa kwa choo. Then tomorrow in the evening, manze niko nayo. And I'm like, why is it so difficult for me to quit this? I even talked to,
Mr. Joel.
Not Mr. Joel. Mr. Joel.
Okay.
I met Mr. Joel through Mr. Kenneth B at Kenya National Theatre. There was an event there, and Ketka came and graced our event, and when they graced our event, that is when we made contact with. So it has been a journey. Hatujapatana tu leo. So through Mr. Ken, I met him. But before I met him, I had opened up to Mr. Ken and told Ken, I need to quit smoking. Ken, I need help. I on a very personal level, I need help to run away from this. At the Kenya National Theatre, I find other people there who are doing exactly what I am running away from. Yani inakuwa ni kama everywhere I'm going, ni kama inanihound, ni pepo. It is a spirit. It follows you where you're going. And if you don't really, first of all, I must say that as much as we are trying to fight this tobacco thing, we must remember that God created it with a purpose. So we should really put God at the center of this battle. We should remind the youth that waache kudanganywa na makanisa, warudi ndani kwa roho na wajue there is God who created this tobacco, and he has a reason for creating it. And if we go back to God, he will help us to run away from it, because he knew it would be a distraction to his people.
I mean, I hear you. So still a journey, like you said. So you made that decision 2 years ago to quit, but you were not able to quit until February
weeks ago.
Year.
Yes.
A few
weeks ago.
A week. So it's not even February. It's like it's not April. Thereabout.
Juicy. I'm telling you, just the other day, I can count the days I'm not even done 21 days. It is said that 21 days, when you make it to 21 days,
then
you've really quit. I'm telling you, I've not made 21 days.
Okay.
You know, it is a trauma. It is something that unasikia hata nikisema nashukuru Mungu sana I'm working with Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance because honestly speaking it is a therapy to me. I even told Mr. Joel the other day that this is a therapy to me. It is a healing process for me. When I stand on that stage and talk to people about awareness, I am making myself aware. I am fighting myself before I fight anyone else. Because it is not just something that you will just wake up and say nimetoka.
No, it's constant.
Your doctor will not save you, atakusaidia kukufanyia chemotherapy ukishikwa na hiyo cancer. But hata kuambia toka na utoke. Ketka itakuja ikuambia ati because tobacco kills over 8 million each year, 7 million out of direct use and 1.2 million out of
second-hand smoking.
Second-hand smoking. That will make you come out. No, it is more of a personal day-to-day battle that you must be committed to. And now my discipline is my kids.
I see. Oh, I see that. I see that. Some sense of purpose to help you in this journey, because like you said, it's not easy for anyone. And Mr. Joel, and especially when it comes to our policies, right? Like we said, we have the Tobacco Control Act. And I mean, like although Kenya was one of the countries that joined in the treaty with WHO and ratified, like all those things. But at the same time, we still have, this is a very, very big issue. So what is it that then we need to do differently? Do we need to change our policies? Do we need to strengthen some areas? What exactly do we need to do just to make sure that then we make the tobacco-free nation a reality?
All these things are supposed to run together. But when you neglect one part, then the entire process fails. Because we are supposed to have programs on cessation to help those who are addicted. Because most people get addicted when they are still ignorant. They are young, the age of discovery. By the time they know what is right and what is wrong, they are already in captivity. So we need to come up with the ways of helping them. And somebody like himself, relapsing is there. That's why even the Bible says you fall 7 times and rise 7 times. He really needs support, because when you are helping somebody, even when you find that he's back to it, you don't look at him badly. You try to encourage him, because if he was smoking every day, now he smokes after 2 days, and then he will smoke after 7 days, and then he continues until he now even forgets about the smoking. So you don't really reprimand those who are, because they are also not happy. And in most cases, when you try to reprimand them, they become so harsh. So we have these policies. The government is supposed to also ensure that the Tobacco Control Act is fully enforced. We have problems where you are talking about advertising, you find these things are being advertised everywhere. You talk about tobacco.
Now they've moved to the digital space. Using influencers
on the internet,
to advertise the same.
They're there. You talk about ban on taps, tobacco advertising, promotion and sponsorship. As we are talking now, BAT has put adverts in students' portals in universities that it is running a program called Battle of Minds, where students contest and they are rewarded, they are given what. That is already something that is not supposed to be happening according to the law. But then you talk until you lose breath and nobody's doing anything. They say they need that money. So that's one area that we are failing. In some of these places, social places, where shisha is really being consumed. You heard the other time when they were talking about places that are noisy, where people drink alcohol and all that, that they were being, in residential areas, they were being closed down. And somebody to the rank of the deputy president said, no, we are not going to allow the governor to interfere with our businesses. We must sit and discuss. So when such things happen, because these places are owned by the mighty, very powerful people, where even when the enforcement officers go, they receive phone calls.
Yeah.
Somebody at one time, the Secretary General of the Club Owners Association, we were with him at the TV47, and he was saying that the director of public health in Nairobi, who tried to close down those places, had been sacked. You know, that much. So everyone wants to guard their jobs. But if we can have enforcement, you know, the problem is impunity. Impunity is the thing.
It's one of the
then
biggest
corruption.
issues. Yeah.
Fellows given small monies, because even cigarettes are not supposed to be sold in single sticks, but you'll find them being sold in single sticks, even on our streets, and nobody bothers.
I mean, we had like designated areas for smoking, but still walking, you know.
And
around,
those
you still
areas,
find
we want them closed down. They are hazardous. Can you imagine now being in a place like this, and down here you have something called a designated smoking zone. And then all that smoke comes here the whole day, and you are here working. You are the second smoker the whole day, 7 days a week or 6 days a week. What are you doing? You finally develop those complications and die.
True. All right.
So those places are also just hazardous. Somewhere just, you look at Modurua, look at the bus station, just outside there. And even some of these hotels, even the 5-star hotels, they just have rooms. So these are things that we should enforce. We should look at the law.
Enforcement
even those cigarettes coming inside. We have got the protocol on elimination of illicit trade across the border. We are not enforcing that. The borders are just porous. Fellows bring in what they want to bring. And they are just consumed all over.
I hear you. I hear you. Serious enforcement of these policies need to be done as soon as possible to help with the same. Okay. And please, because we need to end the show in the next like 2 minutes or so. So having gone through this, still battling the same, still trying, you know, to stay strong and stay strong and true to your promise that you made to yourself, that you're going to quit, right? What is it that you'll tell the young people? Because like we said, now manufacturers are becoming more creative. They're introducing more products into the market. You'd hear some people argue and say, no, but the e-cigarettes are much better than the traditional cigarettes. When people are vaping, there's also the pouches and all those things, which seem cool. And they seem quote unquote better, but really at the end of the day, it's nicotine that we're consuming. And nicotine is not good. What is it that you'll tell your fellow young people, because you're pretty young, you look very young, right? What is it that you'll tell the young people very quickly as far as what you have experienced, what you've gone through, and the effects that you felt as far as tobacco is concerned?
I will just go back to what Mr. Joel said. He said that these people who are pushing the tobacco industry are high and mighty. They are mighty, powerful people. So we as young people might have no or even limited strength when it comes to opposing those people who are allowing.
But you can choose not to partake.
Yes. So it is for us personally to make that personal decision, because a wise man is one who learns from other people's mistakes. So I prefer if even one person will learn from my mistakes. I am here so that at least one person or 2 or 3 will not go through what I had to go through, what I have to go. This is a battle as I speak right now. I am somebody mwenye I feel like ningeendelea kusmoke singepata chance ya kukuja kwa hii interview. I feel like it was trying to take away who I am. So I am here as any chance, and I see it as God given, so that I can help somebody else, and through helping somebody else, I can also get my help. Because
like
in teaching, you get to learn.
Also learn. I like that. All right, and Joel, very quickly in closing, as we mark this day, it's very significant, and all of us should, you know, take part in this fight. And this is to achieve a no tobacco, you know, or free tobacco country. What is it that you would say very quickly, in like 30 seconds?
It is my prayer that we all hold hands and help our farmers so that the country is tobacco free. And then I also pray that we work together with the government. The government is normally very evasive when it comes to working with the civil society organizations. We struggle so much without any resources. And the government officers spend most of the resources on workshops and seminars and travels in the name of what they are not doing, what we are doing.
Okay.
So I pray that all of us and young people should cease from being attracted to these flavored products, e-cigarettes and oral nicotine pouches. And even we want this, the menthol to not to be there, so that cigarettes are just plain. And then these products, in case they are supposed to be there, then they should also be plain. But we pray that taxes should be up. Taxes.
So that we make
the
people-
government should tax. You know, it is so heartbreaking to see the government increasing taxes on essential products, and these harmful products are left. You know, there are no taxes on them this time. It's very bad, it's hypocritical, especially to a country that professes to have leadership that is Christian. And then it is favoring wrong products.
Okay, all right. So taxation should be high so that people are not able to afford it, especially the young people.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
thank you very much. Joel Shuza Gitali, Chair of my Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance, KETCA, as well as Pius Mutie Nzomo, aka SISO Kenya, for coming by today. And of course, the question that we asked you, and that is what should be done to ensure that, again, we reduce the burden as far as tobacco is concerned and its harmful effects. So just allow me to read two comments very quickly. So someone says, planting more tobacco as it used to be, people around there had money for people, will not stop using tobacco products. So you're saying we plant more? No. Okay. And then another one says lowering its cost. Okay, you know what? No, that is not what we're saying. All right. So someone says proper diet after smoking tobacco. And then someone says eliminate it completely. And another person agrees with you. Increase taxation. And this is as far as your feedback. So keep them coming on our socials and as well as on our YouTube page. And that is at NTV Kenya. But for now, allow us to say goodbye. Have yourselves a lovely day ahead. And I will see you soon. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.